What is the reason you get up in the morning? It's a simple question, but the answer can be profoundly complex. For many of us, it might be the jarring sound of an alarm clock, a sense of duty, or the pressure of a looming deadline. We go through our days on autopilot, checking off tasks, moving from one responsibility to the next, often feeling like we're just surviving rather than truly living. But what if there was a different way? What if instead of being pushed out of bed by obligation, you were pulled by a sense of joy, purpose, and meaning? What if you could find a reason to live that infuses even the most ordinary moments with a quiet, powerful sense of fulfillment? This is the promise of a concept deeply engraved in the Japanese psyche, a word that holds the key to a long, happy, and meaningful life. Today, we are going to explore this beautiful and powerful idea by diving into the book Ikigai, Giving Everyday Meaning and Joy by Yukari Mitsuhashi. This book is not about finding one grand, overwhelming purpose that will define your entire existence. Instead, it offers a gentler, more accessible path. It reveals that your reason for living, your Ikigai, can be found in the small joys of daily life, in your hobbies, your work, your relationships, and your connection to the world around you. If you have ever felt a sense of drift, a lack of motivation, or a quiet longing for something more, then listen closely. We are about to embark on a journey to discover how to find your Ikigai, and in doing so, find a deeper sense of meaning and joy in every single day. Let's begin by understanding what Ikigai truly is. The Japanese word is formed of two characters, Iki, which means life, and Gai, which means value or worth. So, Ikigai can be interpreted as the value of life or happiness in life. Put simply, it's your reason for getting up in the morning. This concept has ancient roots, tracing back to Japan's Heian period from 794 to 1185. The character Gai comes from the word kai, which meant shell. In that era, shells were considered highly valuable, so the word came to represent value. There is a common Western misconception about Ikigai, often represented by a Venn diagram with 4 overlapping circles: what you love, what you are good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. In this popular interpretation, Ikigai is found only at the intersection of all 4. While this is a useful framework for career planning, it creates a narrow and limiting view. It suggests that your Ikigai must be something related to work, something you can be paid for.
But for Japanese people, Ikigai is a much broader and more personal concept. It's deeply rooted in the small pleasures and rich textures of our everyday lives. A 2010 survey of 2,000 Japanese men and women revealed that only 31% considered work their Ikigai. The most common source of Ikigai was actually hobbies and leisure interests, followed by family, pets, and time spent with loved ones. Your Ikigai might be your work, yes, but it could just as easily be tending to your garden, painting, enjoying a morning cup of coffee with your spouse, or taking your dog for a walk. It is pragmatic and personal. There is no right or wrong answer. The Japanese proverb, junin toero, literally means 10 people, 10 colors. Just as 10 different people would choose 10 different favorite colors, each person's Ikigai is unique to them. So, is Ikigai just another word for happiness? Not quite. The Japanese word for happiness is shiawase or kofuku. The psychiatrist Mieko Kamiya, who wrote a definitive book on the subject, defines Ikigai as a type of happiness, but with a crucial distinction. Ikigai carries with it a sense of moving towards the future. If you have a goal or something to look forward to, even if you're in a difficult place right now, you can find value and meaning in your present circumstances because you see them as a pathway toward that future. This idea is deeply woven into Japanese culture, which places a strong emphasis on paying attention to the present moment. This isn't just about mindfulness, it's about an appreciation for detail that allows us to find joy in simple everyday things. For example, the Japanese language has specific words for different days in the future. Ashita, tomorrow, asate, the day after tomorrow, and shiasate, 2 days from now. By giving each time its own unique name, we give it its own significance. Consider the haiku, a short 17-syllable poem that often focuses on a single moment in nature. The famous poet Matsuo Basho wrote, "Deep silence, penetrating the rock, a cicada's voice." Haiku poems often use kigo, words specific to a season, reminding us that a day in April is surely different from a day in December. They teach us to appreciate the subtle sounds and sights of nature that can easily be missed if we are not present. This focus on individual moments reminds us of the preciousness of everyday life. Another important Japanese concept is hakanasa, which means frail, transient, or momentary. A symbol of this is the cherry blossom. The tradition of hanami, or gathering under the blossom-covered trees, is one of the most joyful times in Japan, precisely because everyone knows this breathtaking beauty is fleeting and might be gone by the next day. This appreciation for the transient, for the beauty in individual moments, is the soil in which Ikigai grows. It allows us to find joy and meaning not just in the grand journey of life, but in the simple, everyday things right in front of us. So, how do you define your own Ikigai? It's important to remember that if there were 10 people, there would be 10 different Ikigai. Your Ikigai can and will change over time. It grows with you. The Ikigai of your youth may not be the same as the Ikigai you find in parenthood or retirement. Knowing your Ikigai ultimately is about knowing yourself, and that takes time and effort, but it's an investment that pays profound dividends.
After speaking with many people about what gives them meaning, the author Yukari Mitsuhashi noticed some common elements. She framed these as a series of preferences, showing that Ikigai tends to be more one thing than another. First, Ikigai is about everyday life over lifetime. While it's good to have a big purpose, we live our lives moment by moment. Each major event in our life is the result of all the smaller moments that led up to it. Finding attainable Ikigai in your daily life, whether personal or work-related, is what keeps you going. Second, Ikigai is about the external world over internal world. Ikigai is not just something you find within yourself, it's often something that connects you to the outside world. People enjoy hobbies like photography or baking, not just for their own sake, but because they can share their experiences and creations with others. Being fully alive involves interacting with people. Third, Ikigai is about giving over receiving. One of the most rewarding ways we connect to the outside world is when we contribute to the lives of others. Giving brings a profound sense of fulfillment. Dan Buettner, in his book The Blue Zones, studied the long-living people of Okinawa and found that their Ikigai was a major contributing factor to their longevity. Older people felt a responsibility to pass on their wisdom to younger generations, giving them a purpose in service to their communities. Fourth, Ikigai is fluid over fixed. People often feel Ikigai towards something where they can see change and progress. A parent is fascinated by seeing their child learn and grow. A worker is motivated by progressing in their job. A gardener finds joy in seeing flowers and plants grow and change over time. We all have an underlying desire to witness progress in our lives. Fifth, Ikigai is emotional over logical. This is essential. Ikigai is something you feel with your heart, not something you think with your head. Logic might tell you that having more money will make you happy, but we all know people who have all the money in the world and still feel empty inside. Your emotions don't lie. That feeling of deep joy that arises from your heart is likely your Ikigai. Sixth, Ikigai is specific over abstract. It's great to have a grand mission like solving world hunger, but you are more likely to feel the difference you're making when you are involved with those closest to home. Starting small and seeing the tangible impact you're making, for example by volunteering at a local food bank, will give you a stronger and more immediate sense of purpose. And finally, Ikigai is active over passive. No matter how simple, Ikigai is almost always accompanied by action. After all, it's what gets you up in the morning.
Even a seemingly passive hobby like reading involves the action of seeking out a book and finishing it. Without action, there is no Ikigai. Ask yourself, what are you actively pursuing in your life even though no one is asking you to? Knowing your Ikigai brings profound benefits. It allows you to feel happy and content, find a stable state of mind, and have better control over your day-to-day life. It helps you grow and progress, find a sense of purpose, and feel more driven and motivated. Above all, by being aware of what you truly enjoy and are passionate about, Ikigai brings focus and direction to your life. It serves as an anchor. With Ikigai in mind, you won't have to think twice about what matters to you, and you will know what to prioritize.
If you are finding this exploration of Ikigai valuable and want to continue discovering ancient wisdom for modern life, take a moment to hit that subscribe button. By joining the BookPiler community, you're ensuring that you won't miss out on our next summary, and you're helping us to continue our mission of compiling and sharing life-changing ideas. We are grateful for your support. Now, let's explore how to find Ikigai in two of the most significant areas of our lives, our interests and our work. Our interests are often born from curiosity. One of the common traits of Japanese people is a deep sense of curiosity. This can be seen in the shoppers queuing for newly opened restaurants or the constant stream of new products in convenience stores. This curious approach to life is a powerful tool for discovering your Ikigai because pursuing your curiosity leads to action, which is a fundamental aspect of Ikigai. Hobbies are a direct expression of this curiosity. Many Japanese people have interesting hobbies, from playing traditional chess called shogi, to farming on weekends, to strolling through high-end shopping districts in a traditional kimono. These hobbies are not just pastimes, they're avenues for joy and self-expression. Even something as necessary as eating can become a source of Ikigai. Japanese people take eating very seriously. There is even a book titled Oishi can be Ikigai, delicious can be Ikigai, explaining that good food can bring true joy. By paying attention to the details of our daily life, no matter how ordinary, we can turn anything into a memorable and fulfilling experience. Furthermore, sharing your Ikigai is a powerful way to connect with others and feel fulfilled. A hobby like baking may seem like something you do for your own enjoyment, but the act of sharing what you've baked with others and seeing the smile on their faces deepens the sense of Ikigai. Volunteering is another powerful example. Author Kaya Doi, who writes children's books, devotes her free time to eliminating cruelty to animals. She says, "By leveraging my profession as a children's books writer, I can help raise awareness of animal rights problems. If I can contribute to saving even one life, it gives me yarigai, value of doing. Volunteering even makes me feel that I am glad to be born into this world." Through this work, she found peers who are just as passionate as she is, creating another layer of connection and fulfillment. What about work? For many, the phrase work-life balance is an elusive ideal. It's hard to completely separate work and life because work is a part of our lives. While there's nothing wrong with seeing work simply as a means to pay the bills, considering how much time we spend there, it is worthwhile finding Ikigai in our work to keep us motivated. The key is to apply the same principle of paying attention to detail. Instead of viewing your job as one big, monolithic thing, try breaking it down into different components. Even if your job is less than ideal, if you look carefully, there must be some element that you enjoy. Avoid the all-or-nothing thinking of, "my job sucks," and instead reframe it. Acknowledge the parts you don't enjoy, but also reflect on the elements you do, whether it's the sense of teamwork, the feeling of achievement when you meet a deadline, or the satisfaction of helping a customer. A 2015 study on motivation at work in Japan found that the biggest motivator was being thanked. This reveals that even at work, many people are driven by being useful to others. Seeing the impact you are making is a key to feeling motivated. This is true for everyone. In one study of cold callers at the University of Michigan, the callers who actually met the recipient of the scholarship they were trying to raise money for raised 171% more money than those who didn't. They could see the direct human impact of their work.
This leads to the concept of job crafting. This is the act of actively shaping your job to make it a better fit for your motives, strengths, and passions. Instead of passively taking the job you were given, you craft it. This can be done in a few ways. First, there's task crafting, where you might alter the number or type of tasks you do. For example, if you dislike a certain task but your colleague enjoys it, you might be able to swap responsibilities. Second, there's relational crafting, where you change who you interact with. And third, there's cognitive crafting, which involves changing your perception of your work. The story of the bullet train cleaners in Japan is a perfect example of cognitive crafting. These teams are required to clean an entire 100-seat train carriage in a mere 7 minutes. If they thought of themselves as just cleaners, their motivation would be minimal. But they have reframed their perception. They see themselves as being in the hospitality business, responsible for providing a pleasurable experience to travelers. They take immense pride in their role, and this allows them to feel Ikigai in their work. If Ikigai can be found in the simple task of cleaning, there is no reason you can't find it in your job too. To begin job crafting, start by becoming aware of how you are currently doing your work. Keep a log for a few days and ask yourself these questions. What tasks am I doing? How do I feel about these tasks? How am I spending my time? Who am I talking to or connecting with? Once you've mapped out your work, think about one small action you could take to make each area more fulfilling. It's about finding room for creativity and continuous experimentation. So how do you find your Ikigai? For those who don't know where to start, the book offers a list of questions to help you connect the dots of your life. Looking for your Ikigai is like a slow stroll through your own neighborhood, not a stressful expedition into unknown territory. The clues are often right there, in your past and present. Don't limit yourself to your career. Look as far back as your childhood. Take some time to reflect on these questions. Going back to your childhood, what did you enjoy the most? What events or incidents do you remember strongly? Looking back at your life, what were the memorable moments where your emotions were stirred? What brings happiness to your everyday life? When do you feel happiest? What puts a smile on your face just thinking about it? What is something you do even though no one asks you to do it? What would you continue to do even if you had enough money to live happily ever after? And finally, what makes you want to be alive to see tomorrow?
Take your time answering these questions. When you're finished, look for patterns. Look for themes that occur again and again. A half-forgotten childhood memory might take on a whole new meaning when you consider it alongside the things that stir your curiosity today. In the end, finding your Ikigai is not a passive process. You can't find it by sitting around the house. Ikigai is the action we take in pursuit of happiness. When you find something even remotely interesting, don't dismiss it so easily. Pay attention to the things that pique your interest and give them a chance to develop into something more. When you are aware of your potential Ikigai, anything connected to it seems to magically find its way to you, as if some unknown force is encouraging you to pursue it. Ultimately, Ikigai is about knowing yourself, your values, what you care about, and what you prioritize. It is your reason to live, a compass that gives you focus and direction, and a source of joy that can be found not in some distant grand achievement, but in the precious, fleeting, and beautiful moments of every single day. By understanding and pursuing your Ikigai, you can give every day meaning and joy and live a life that is not just long, but truly, deeply, and wonderfully fulfilled.